My pleasure is to welcome Andre, an expert in deafness, sign language, migration studies, and intercultural learning. He will talk about migrants with disabilities, and also he will present the work of Institute of the Deaf in Turin, Italy. Welcome, Andre.
Okay, so my presentation is about a migrant with disability. First, I want to present myself and also present the organization where I'm working. So I am Andre Karl. Originally I'm from Cameroon, and I live in Italy. So I am an immigrant in Italy. So the topic is really important to me because I have my process of immigration, so I know how it can be really difficult to people to reach a job when you are immigrant. So the organization who I'm part is Fondazione Istituto Dei Sordi di Torino, in English Turin Institute for the Deaf. So it's a non-profit founded in 1940 by the King of Savoy to provide assistance uh, at deaf people and to train the teachers. So the first aim of our organization was to train the teacher who can work with deaf people and help them to be integrated in the society. And then the organization move, and now we provide a range of services to all people. We have sensory disabilities, mean we have deaf people, blind people, and also autistic people, and we provide service for them all kind of stages. So from the kindergarten into the all the purpose of the life, we provide service of course, interpreter, and all the stuff that the people can need. And in the other side, we train teacher or people will have to work with that person. So we are located in Italy, in the north of Italy, especially in Piedmont, at Torino, Turin, and we have 140 workers actually. So that is a general presentation about our organization. Now we will go into our, you can see some of our activities. So we have a lot of activity such just a second. We have a lot of activities of adult education for deaf, hearing, blind, or other kind of impairment, vocational training, speech therapy. We train the teacher. We have a kindergarten, a library. We make international project, a different thing. So now about our topic. So our topic is to speak about people, migrant, we have disability because actually when we speak about when people speak about refugees and immigrants, we forgot to include people with disability, but it's important because they are a part of that community and they really need to see they really have need that their different organizations have to take care of them. So person with disability, I didn't put a definition of disability because according to the Convention on the Right of Person with Disability, uh, disability is a concept we continue to evolve. So we cannot have a specific terminal, a specific definition of disability. So, but uh, all, um, always according to the UN Convention, person with disability include those people who have a long-term physical, mental, intellectual, or sensory impairment with an interaction with various barriers may end their full and effective participation in society on an equally basis with others. It is important to understand that the disability can be something visible, so something that we can perceive. So it can be a physical disability, a mental disability, an intellectual disability, or a sensual disability. But the disability can also be social because maybe some people have barrier they cannot surpass. So in that context, they are disabled people. They can be defined like disabled people. So it's for that reason that the term disability, the definition of disability, definition of disability is quite involved. We didn't have the special definition who can include all the kind of disability or all the kind of disability the person may have during their own life. So, according that to our topic, migrant with disability, we have to know that the person with disability make about 50% of the global population. So we have 50% of the global population we are affected by disability, and this part inside with this part we do also have migrant. So uh, mm, we have also to understand that migrant can be disabled, so they can came to our different country being disabled, or during the process of immigration they can become disabled people. So it's important to understand when you have to deal with a migrant with disability, to understand if their disability, they have the disability before the process of traveling, or if they take the disability, let me use the term take the disability during the process of migration. It can be maybe by an incident or torture, so it depends. But we have to understand it, and according also to the convention, when a migrant enter in our country and we feel that she's disabled, we have to give her some protection. So um, just to a little bit let you understand that we make a different in every context. We make a really different a different perception about disability and mental disability. So we have a mental illness or mental disorder. When we speak or when we have to deal with people with disability, actually we continue to make a great difference between the other kind of disability and the mental disability, because people with mental disability have other special needs. So actually in Europe, when you find that the person you have in front have mental disability, the way to work with them or the way we relation with them is very different if you have, for example, people with physical disability. So, according also to the convention, you have to give all the support that the person with disability may need. You have to give all the support that the person with disability may need. Okay, this one, and then be sure that they have all the accessibility, the necessary accessibility. So, a little bit part of legislation. So I want to tell you that actually with migrant with disability, we have to differentiate the kind of disability they have, and then see how to manage how to front with them, because uh, we didn't have the same report, the same way to relationate ourselves with one migrant we have disability. It depend of the kind of disability, as I told you before. It also depends if the disability was acquired during the process of immigration, or if the person still have his disability when she came in our country. Okay. Some point that I really want to share with you is the identification of person with disability in reception. So it's quite important that for those people who work directly in the front office, so the people who directly have contact with the migrant or the refugees when they come, it's important to identify the disability of the person. It's important to understand the kind of disability, the provenance of the disability, if the disability was already occurred before the process of immigration, or if disability become during the process of immigration, because uh, uh, being disabled for a long time and just become to be disabled is quite difficult at psychology level. So it's important for that person to understand how or what kind of disability the people in front have. So for that reason, the European Adult Support Office creates a tool. You can see the link of the tool to help a professional or organization to understand how to identify the disability of the person they have in front. Okay, and then when you finish to identify, because the second step when you identify the person with this disability, the migrant, the refugee with the disability, you have to see how to put that person in the necessary condition, because you can even if in some country they continue to use to do that, you can put migrant with disability with the other migrant, especially if they have some kind of disability. For example, you can put people with mental disability with the other migrant. It will be really stressful for the migrant with disability and also for the other kind of migrant. So you have to understand, it's for that reason that it's important to understand the kind of disability. So according to the kind of disability, you can decide to put the person in the special center in the right condition they may need for his situation. It's mean, for example, if you have people with physical disability, you have to put them in a place that she can facility to reach by using his moving. So maybe they need a sensor, they need uh, uh, a lot of stuff. Okay. Um, and then just to focus also, we, for example, us as organization dealing with migrant with disability, we focus our project or our way to work with them according to the European Commission strategy, disability strategy, so to 2010, 2020. So we have already 1 year. Uh, it's a good document we provide to give us all the important information, all the topic or the main topic that we have to focus when we are working with people with disability. And us as organization, we try to use this document and to adapt it to migrant. Because the document is not focused on migrant, it's focused on disability in general, but we try to adapt it on the migrant topic. So, yeah, I just want to share with you the objective of the document because it's important, and one of the topic about employability that we are speaking about today is included in that objective. So, the first, as you can see, is accessibility. So it's important to give the right accessibility to the person you have in front. So if your migrant is blind, deaf, or with physical or mental disability, you have to give them the right accessibility. This means if it's blind, you have to give information in braille, give audio information, give adapted purpose to find himself. If maybe he's deaf, you have to provide an sign language interpreter, clear text, more image. So according to the kind of disability you have to give them the right accessibility. So the second about this document is participation. So to be sure that you have to be sure that the people we have, the people with disability, so in that case, migrant with disability, enjoy all the benefits they have to enjoy as citizens. So the center, the community, the local government have to remove all the barriers that person can feel for his inclusion in the society. The third is equality. So just combat about discrimination. It's important, especially when we are speaking about migrant with disability, because because with migrant with disability we have a dual discrimination. Because the first discrimination they are migrants, so or refugees, so they are in other country which not their country, so they face discrimination about that fact. And still disabled. So they have two discrimination. So we are speaking about dual discrimination. So it's really important in our case to work about equality. They need to have the same right as all the people. So it's really important in our topic to focus on that objective. Therefore, is employment, the topic that we are really speaking about now, because you know that the labor market is quite difficult. It's quite difficult to find a job in that context. It's quite difficult to find a job when you are migrant, and it's still quite difficult to find a job when you are migrant with disability, because as I told you before, job discrimination. The migrant have difficulty to find a job. People with disability have difficulty to have the job. So when you have that too difficult. Discrimination is quite difficult, but we have to work on it. So as an institution, our work is first provide to find the competence, the ability that the person we have. So we speak with the migrant, make a call, we providing information about job placement, we help them to find a job, and also we help the entrepreneur or the organization who want to take in staff that person to find how to work with people with disability or how to work with migrant with disability. So we prepare both of the actors to understand each other. So we prepare the migrant to know the context of working, and we prepare the context of working to know how to work with migrant with disability. For example, if the migrant is deaf, so you have to speak like that, provide clear information, short sentence. So we explain at the company the way to work with that migrant, and also we explain at the migrant the way to get involved in the company. And then education and training. So as I will tell you, we provide training courses. We help them in education system because it's important to them to have a formation. Because if you need to have a job, as Damien said before, if you want a job, you need also to have a formation. So we provide educational system and training to that people to be sure that they can have a diploma, a degree, or a piece of paper to go inside the job market. And then the other topic is social protection. So to be sure that they're living in decent condition, they are not living in poverty condition, and they are not front social exclusion. So it's all these topics are really related between them, because if the person are living discrimination or in poverty context, it means that they are not included. So we have to fight about it. And also health. So be sure that they have the right information, they have the access of health service, they have the real accessibility in that service, because maybe, for example, with deaf people for our side, they go to the hospital and they didn't have an interpreter. So the doctor cannot understand the problem they have, and they go back to home without having the crew. So it's important to work on that topic. And then the last one is an external action, and that is really that what we are doing now. So promote the right of people with disability. So in this webinar, we are working on that external action. So we are telling to people we attend this webinar, people who will see the slide, that you can work with that people. They are not. You can. They are able to do something. So just try, just put yourself inside, just try to understand what they are facing, and then you uh, uh, um, you can work with it. So just to resume before to conclude, it's important to first, when you have immigrant in general or refugees, understand if the refugees have a disability. So it means if they have the disability, which kind of disability they have, it's important to understand, because the treatment or the way to manage people is different by the kind of disability. So you have to understand, because they use different methodology. The kind of disability, if the disability was there before the process of the immigration, or they have it during the process of immigration. For example, people will go to Libya, may have disability, they can acquire disability during their stay in Libya. So it's important to understand it, because when you understand the origin of the disability, the period of the disability, uh, you can also give the right psychological support for that person. So it's important to understand the need of the person you have in front of you according to his disability. Disability can also be social disability, so understand it, and then work taking in consideration that objective that I gave you. Because if you are just trying to follow that objective, you can really give to that person the good way to be integrated inside the society. So now we can see the bibliography if you need some information, and you can contact me at Istituto sordi.project@gmail.com. So thank you very much. I am seeing that somebody lost me. Did you hear me now? I was really on the topic, so I didn't see that somebody lost me, but I'm really sorry. Okay, perfect. So thank you very much. I will be there. So at the end, if you have question, I can answer to your question. If you need uh, if you need additional information, you can contact me by email. I am just writing my email in the forum room, so you can just send me an email, and I am open to all suggestion and consideration. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Andre, for this, again, eye-opening presentation. You really brought us to think in different directions. Thank you so much.